Hello crafty friends, welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be using some of the gilding that I did in the previous video. If you want to see how I made these bits and pieces, then check out the video, I'll leave a link below. The first thing I decided to do was some slicing with my guillotine because I wanted to create some little panels out of these shimmery shiny pieces. So you'll see how all those turned out as we work our way through the video. The only piece that I didn't chop down was this one because I thought it'd be good for die cutting. But before I did any die cutting, I used some peacock feathers distress oxide and blended it over my panel to colour the card that was peeking through all the gilding. Now the ink did dull down the gilding, but that's easy to rectify. You can buff it off with a dry cloth. If that doesn't work, you can always mist your cloth ever so slightly with some water and that will lift the colour off of the gilding flakes. For my die cutting, I decided to stick with sentiments. I've got this big high die and I cut one of those. Before sticking it down to my card though, I decided to spatter on some teal metallic paint in the background, and I chose teal because it's similar to the peacock feathers that I put on the gilded card. I did put quite a lot of paint on my card and it was going to take forever to dry, so I mopped it up with a paper towel and then gave it a little blast with my hairdryer. I put some 1mm deep foam tape on the back of my die cut and then I placed that in the middle of the card. To make sure that I got the dot of the eye in the right place, I put the remnants back over my die cut word and that helped me align my dot properly. And there you go, really happy with that. Love the gilding, love the colours, love the shimmer and shine. For card number 2, I pulled a piece of DIY pattern paper from my box of backgrounds and bits, chopped it down with a stitched rectangle die and placed it on a card blank. I then die cut the words "You are fabulous" out of some of that leftover bit of gilded card. I put high-tack white glue on the back using my glue dotter and then placed the sentiments in the bottom third of the card. And I didn't feel that it needed anything else. It's nice and flat, quite dramatic, plenty of shimmer and shine. For card number 3, I used my multi-size circle die to die cut out lots of dots from whatever was left of that gilded panel. I also kept the remnants, the bit around the outside of the dots, and chopped that down into a little rectangle because I thought it was too pretty to throw away and would look great on the front of a card. I grabbed another piece from my box of backgrounds and bits with a really lovely ethereal bluey purple pattern on it. I cut that down again with a stitched rectangle die, stuck it on the front of a card, and then I added that rectangular strip of remnants to the left hand side. On top of that I placed a black leafy branchy die cut because I felt that the black would really pop, there'd be plenty of contrast. I then added a black with love sentiment to go with the black foliage, and then I added some dots of matte gel medium and added some of the circles that I cut. I really like the colour combination on this one and the movement and energy you get from the background and from the circles. For the next bunch of cards, I gathered the bits that I'd cut down from the larger pieces and I put these on some card blanks. So this is card number 4. I took 2 pieces from the same piece of gilded card. I made this one with stencil paste. And I placed the large piece coming in from the top right hand corner and the smaller piece from the bottom left hand corner. So I created a diagonal design. For card number 5, I added another one of the stenciled pieces, but this isn't just gold, this has got some copper in it as well. And I placed that in the top left hand corner, coming down from the top of the card. Onto card number 6, and I took that strip of mostly copper gilding and I ran it through my die cutting machine with an embossing folder to give it some texture. I then glued this onto a bit of linen textured white cardstock, trimmed it down with my trimmer to give it a little white border all the way around the outside, and then I glued that onto the front of a linen textured card blank over to the right hand side. Moving on to the panels with gilded circles, I did these with Deco Foil liquid adhesive. I cut them down so they weren't full circles. Then I mounted them on some linen textured white cardstock, trimmed them out with my guillotine and stuck them to the front of card blanks over to the left hand side. Once I'd stuck everything down, I went around all the straight edges with my embossing tool to bevel them to make them look a little bit neater. Once I'd got all the gilded pieces mounted onto card blanks, I die cut some embellishments from some other bits from my box of backgrounds and bits. So for this one, I've got a nice twiddly bit of foliage. I die cut it from a pinky orangey bit of card. I did add some extra ink to it because it wasn't quite bold enough. But when I was happy with it, I added glue to the back with my glue dotter. I then stuck this to a scalloped circle of vellum, added a little bit more glue behind the leaves where it would be hidden on the back of the vellum, and then stuck this over the larger of the gilded pieces. I added a sending love sentiment, and to bring in a bit of energy and movement because it was all very straight liney, I added some white Nouveau drops in a diagonal from the bottom left to the top right, and that was card number 4 finished. To finish card number 5, I die cut some chunky foliage out of a lovely bold purpley blue smushy piece. I added glue to the back of that, stuck it on a vellum circle again, and the vellum circles just provide a little bit of separation between the gold in the background and the colour in the foreground, helping them to stand out from each other. I use high-tack white glue again and place this over the gilded panel. For a sentiment, I chose a nice bold with love because I felt the boldness of the sentiment worked well with the boldness of the foliage. I did think about adding some black Nouveau drops, but I decided against it. I think it would have cluttered things up too much. For card number 6, I chose a bluey greeny bit from my box of backgrounds and bits. I think this is an old gel print. And I chose this because I thought it would be a nice complement to the orangey copper in the background. I die cut 2 flower heads, stuck them on a scalloped circle of vellum again. I then added some Nouveau glitter drops in Gold Coast onto the flowery parts of the flowers so that they had a bit of texture and a bit of shimmer and shine. And then I added a black happy birthday straddling the point where the 2 flower stems cross. For card number 7, I chose a lovely smushy tealy blue and white background and die cut out some wildflowers which I placed directly over the gold swirly circle. For my sentiment, I used Always in My Thoughts and put this bang in the middle of the circle where it would really stand out. And finally, back to card number 8, I chose a piece of pink inked cardstock from my box of backgrounds and bits, die cut out some more foliage, placed this over the circle, and the sentiment reads, hoping your day blooms with happiness. And I nestled this into a gap between the leaves, and to finish it off I added some more Nouveau glitter drops in Gold Coast. So there you go, 8 cards made with some of the bits and bobs I made in the previous video about gilding. I hope the video's given you some ideas. Do let me know if you're going to try any of these. And if you would like to see more from me, do subscribe and ring the notification bell, and I will see you back here very soon for my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.